It was one of those early autumn evenings, when the sun lingered low in the sky, draping everything in a tender golden glow. The crisp scent of autumn lingered in the air, mingling with the warmth of fading sunlight. I had just set down the watering can, my heart fluttering as I caught sight of him from the corner of my eye. Standing there, a world away yet so close. Our paths had crossed before, but never like this. He lived next door, the son of Victoria. But until that night, he had always been just a shadow in the background, unnoticed and unacknowledged. He was just a fleeting presence, a whisper in the corners of my mundane existence. Home for brief visits, assisting his mother with the garden, always polite with a casual wave, and then he vanished, leaving a lingering ache in his absence. He was likely in his early 30s, perhaps a touch older now. Time slipped away like a whispered secret, unnoticed until it was too late. That evening, Victoria's voice trembled through the phone, laced with urgency and a hint of desperation. As she pulled away, the weight of her request lingered in the air, a bittersweet promise of stolen moments. I could almost feel the warmth of her presence in the empty house, the thrill of being so close yet so far from what could never be. I agreed in a heartbeat, caught off guard by the rush of feelings. I had crossed that line once before. We weren't exactly best friends, but there was a closeness that felt electric, and I cherished the moments when I could be there for him. That night, I never imagined I would find someone waiting in the shadows. But just as I stepped off my porch to cross the street, a flicker of movement caught my eye behind the curtains, stirring something deep within me. A tall figure brushed past the window, and in that fleeting moment my heart stopped. Victoria had kept her secret close, never hinting at anyone else's presence. As I knocked softly on the door, my heart raced when Jerry appeared, a mix of surprise and longing in his eyes. "Oh," he whispered, his eyes wide with surprise, as if my presence had caught him off guard. "It is I, Miss Carter." That's how he always referred to me. I despised it. Made me feel like I was crossing a line, caught in a moment that shouldn't be shared. I offered him a fleeting smile, tinged with something unspoken. "Hey Jerry, your mother sent me to see how you were doing. I never expected to find you here, in this secret place where our worlds collide." He ran his fingers nervously along the nape of his neck, a flicker of longing in his eyes. "She dropped the news on me just before it was too late. I'll be here all weekend, keeping an eye on the house while she's away. I didn't mean to frighten you. Your fear doesn't touch me," I whispered, pulling away. "It took me by surprise, that's all. I knew I should have turned and left in that moment. I had fulfilled my duty, yet an unshakable pull kept me there, heart racing and breath hitching. Perhaps it was the way the light danced around him, casting a glow that felt almost intimate. Intense, yearning. Perhaps it was the way his gaze lingered on me, igniting a spark that felt both thrilling and wrong. Not like I was just some older neighbor, but there was something deeper in his gaze. Something yearning. "Do you want to stay for a while?" He whispered the question, a tremor of longing in his voice. As I stood there, the kettle's soft whistle beckoned, a moment of warmth before the world outside intruded. Or something more intense if that's what you desire. I paused, my heart racing. For years I had built walls around my heart, always saying no to the thrill of the unexpected. Whispers of longing. Moments that linger on the edge of possibility. But for some reason my heart whispered yes. Inside, the house held a scent that whispered of cedarwood and fresh laundry, a bittersweet reminder of moments stolen away. He cracked open a window, allowing the cool evening breeze to slip inside, stirring something deep within him. I perched on the edge of the couch, heart racing as he slipped away into the kitchen, leaving a lingering tension in the air. The soft, mellow music wrapped around me like a secret, pulling me into its embrace as I glanced around, heart racing with unspoken desires. The house felt like a memory, yet it pulsed with a new, vibrant energy, as if someone young had breathed life into its walls for just a fleeting weekend. He returned, 2 glasses of deep red wine in hand, a spark of something unspoken hanging between us. "I thought this might be a sweeter choice," he murmured, offering it to me with a shy smile. To us? Our glasses met with a soft chime, a fleeting moment that felt both electric and wrong. To us, the wine flowed like a secret, rich and smooth, igniting a warmth that felt both thrilling and dangerous. And we whispered secrets to each other. In the beginning it was just innocent moments. He spoke of his life in Denver, the weight of his mother's health, and the whispers of the neighborhood, each word laced with an unspoken longing. But soon the conversation ventured into deeper, more intimate territory. He inquired about me, truly inquired. It had been ages since someone had gazed at me with such intensity while I spoke, not merely nodding along but truly listening, truly seeing me. I shared whispers of my garden, memories of my days as a nurse, and the haunting silence that filled the house now that the children had flown and my husband had long vanished from my life. "You don't look lonely," he murmured, a hint of longing in his voice. My heart raced as I caught his gaze, a mix of shock and something deeper stirring within me. "Do I not?" "No, you appear serene, as if you've come to terms with everything." I smiled, yet a bittersweet ache lingered in my heart. "Peace and loneliness can share the same space, Jerry." He nodded slowly, his gaze locking onto mine, sending a rush of warmth through my chest. It felt as if he grasped a secret between us, unafraid to acknowledge the weight of it. The silence enveloped us, thick with unspoken words, a tension that felt both thrilling and dangerous. I gazed at the glass, its contents dwindling, a bittersweet reminder of what could never be. "I should probably go," I whispered, my feet rooted to the ground. He leaned back, his voice a whisper that sent shivers down her spine. "Tex, please, just a little longer. I want to share this moment with you, to linger in the warmth of our conversation." I wish I had turned away. I had reached the tender age of 61. My days flowed like a melody, each moment a familiar note in a song I thought I knew by heart. I shouldn't have been in my neighbor's house, sharing wine with her son, feeling the tension between us grow heavier with every passing moment. Yet I lingered. Our whispers lingered in the night, wrapped in the silence that only the moon could witness. He leaned in closer, elbows resting on his knees, and asked me a question that felt too intimate for the moment. A question that lingered in the air like a secret we both knew we shouldn't share. "Have you ever felt that life slipped away while you were lost in duty?" My breath hitched, a forbidden thrill coursing through me. I did, more than I dared to confess. I nodded, my heart racing. "That's how I feel lately," he murmured, his gaze lost in the depths of his glass. In the blink of an eye, everything I dreamed of slipped away. I couldn't. The room pulsed with heat, and the distance between us shrank, charged with an unspoken longing that had grown unbearable over the hours. "Text." There was an intensity in him that caught me off guard, a vulnerability that pulled me in, and I found myself unable to turn away. His gaze met mine, and I felt the weight of unspoken words hanging between us, a question lingering in the air before it ever escaped his lips. "Is there ever a moment when starting anew feels impossible?" I couldn't find the words, but deep down, I felt the weight of this fleeting moment. So genuine, so precious. I just wanted to hold on to it forever. I placed my glass on the table and I lingered. The next morning I stirred awake in my own bed, the gentle light filtering through the curtains, casting a warm glow that felt almost too intimate. For a fleeting heartbeat, I questioned if it had all been a dream. The late-night conversation lingered in the air, his gaze igniting a spark within me. I found myself swept away, lost in a moment that felt both thrilling and dangerously uncharted. Yet it had happened and I was undeniably aware of it, unable to shake it from my mind. I went through the motions of the morning, coffee, shower, folding laundry, but my mind kept drifting back to the night before, not because anything wrong had occurred. We were so close, yet so far, our fingers barely brushing the surface of something deeper. It was the way he looked at me, the way his presence wrapped around my heart, making me feel seen and cherished in a way I thought I'd lost forever. By midday, I had whispered to myself that it was merely a passing dream. Perhaps the wine had cast a spell, making everything feel more profound than it truly was. Perhaps he had already erased it from his memory. But around 3 o'clock, as I was trimming the hydrangeas along the side of my porch, his voice reached me once more, sending a shiver down my spine. "HLOARA." I turned, and there he stood, hands tucked away, that familiar softness in his gaze pulling me in. My heart raced at his unexpected gaze, and his half-smile sent a thrill through me, a spark of something we both knew we shouldn't feel. "Text, I brought your coffee mug," he said, lifting it with a hint of longing in his eyes. "You left it behind last night." I stepped to the edge of the yard, my heart racing as I took it from him. Our fingers brushed for just a heartbeat, and once more, I felt that electric spark, A fleeting connection that felt so wrong yet so right in that ordinary moment. "Thank you," I whispered, my voice trembling with an unexpected intensity. I couldn't tell if I had truly walked away, or if it was all just a fleeting dream. He let out a soft, bittersweet laugh. "It really happened. I didn't imagine it either. I could have walked away, leaving everything unsaid. But something held me there. A whisper of longing that tangled with the petals, urging me to stay just a moment longer. But instead I whispered, 'Are you hungry?'" His brow arched just a bit, and a secretive smile tugged at his lips. "Are you asking me to share a meal, Miss Carter?" "Text. I told you not to call me that," I whispered, glancing back at the house, my heart racing. "Come on, I made way too much chicken salad. It feels like a secret between us, something we shouldn't share. Yet here we are." He stepped in behind me, and in an instant, the delicate balance of my secluded life was forever altered. We lingered at the small table by my kitchen window, the sunlight casting a warm glow over the wood, a fragile barrier between us. He seemed so comfortable in my space, as if it were perfectly natural for him to be there, igniting a warmth that felt both thrilling and wrong. And for a moment it felt like it could be everything. We whispered about melodies, cherished films, and trivial moments that felt so light yet so heavy in our hearts. But then everything changed. He looked at me with those searching eyes and asked why I had never taken the plunge again. A daring inquiry. Yet, in his voice, there was only a gentle curiosity, free from judgment. I stared at my fork, heart racing, lost in the weight of unspoken words. "I've grown accustomed to solitude," I confessed. It felt safer to embrace solitude, to find solace in my own heart, rather than be with someone who looked right through me. His head dipped, a silent agreement laced with unspoken longing. "It feels right, doesn't it?" Then he leaned back, his eyes locked onto hers, a silent promise hanging in the air. "But I caught a glimpse of you last night, Sarah. I truly did. Since that moment you've consumed my thoughts and I can't shake the feeling." A flutter in my stomach caught me off guard, and I despised the way it made me feel. I was 60 years old, for heaven's sake. These emotions were meant for the young, for those who adorned themselves with perfume daily, who chose fresh dresses for each date, who smiled without a second thought of the lines that might betray their age. But in that moment I felt young and alive, as if the world around us faded away, leaving just the two of us in a secret embrace. In that fleeting moment my heart raced, and I felt a spark that was both thrilling and dangerous. Yet I felt the urge to speak, even if it was risky. "Jerry, I can't quite grasp what we have here. I'm twice divorced and twice your age, yet here we are drawn to each other in a way that feels both thrilling and wrong. So close." "Not quite," he replied, a playful smirk dancing on his lips. "Yet you don't seem to carry the weight of those years." His words sent a shiver through me, igniting a feeling I thought was lost forever. Yet I remained silent. Every fiber of my being urged me to pull away, to shield my heart from the inevitable ache. Yet, a whisper within urged me to surrender to the moment, to truly embrace the emotions that stirred inside. After lunch we stayed in the living room, the air thick with unspoken words and stolen glances. It all began with a flicker on the screen, but now all I can think about is the way our hands brushed together, igniting something we both knew we shouldn't explore. A glimpse into a world we shouldn't explore, perhaps. In the quiet corners of small towns, where secrets linger like whispers in the wind, hearts collide in stolen moments. The thrill of a glance, the warmth of a touch, all wrapped in the delicate tension of what should never be. Love blooms in the shadows, fragile yet fierce, as two souls dance on the edge of desire and consequence. Yet we chose to ignore it all. Our words hung in the air, heavy with unspoken feelings. Each silence pulsed with a mix of wonder and tension, filled with questions we dared not voice. He glanced at me, his voice low and intense, and said, "You have a presence that makes time stand still. Feels like a secret tether to reality." I chuckled, a hint of anxiety lacing my voice. "That's a sweet way of saying I keep my secrets close." "No," he whispered, his breath warm against her skin as he drew nearer. "It's a whisper of reassurance, a secret promise that wraps around the heart, making it feel at home even in the shadows. It's been ages since I experienced something like this." The silence that lingered was filled with unspoken words. It throbbed between us, a secret rhythm that only we could feel. He stood so close, our breaths mingling, But his lips remained just out of reach, holding back the moment that felt so electric and yet so wrong. His gaze held a longing that ignited something deep within me. And in that moment I understood. I craved it just as fiercely. Not for the excitement, not for a momentary high, but because it was genuine, surprising, and tender. And that only deepened the intensity of it all. I led him to the door, the sky threatening to blush with the colors of a sunset that felt too intimate to share. "Thank you for lunch," he whispered, a hint of longing in his voice. "Always." He stayed on the porch, heart racing, caught between desire and the weight of unspoken rules. "Will you be all right tonight?" he whispered, a hint of concern lacing his voice. "Text. If you ever find yourself in need, just know I'm here." "I'll be okay," I whispered, my heart aching with unspoken truths. "But I'm grateful." And then he made a tiny gesture, yet it held so much weight. His fingers brushed against mine, a fleeting connection that sent shivers down my spine. His hand brushed against mine for a fleeting moment, not a tease but a silent connection that stirred something deep within. "Will I see you tomorrow?" he whispered, a hint of longing in his voice. I nodded, my heart racing with unspoken words. "Absolutely." As the door clicked shut, I sank against it, my hand resting over my racing heart. My heart raced, a thrilling pulse that both excited and terrified me. A spark ignited between us, unexpected and thrilling, pulling us into a world we never dared to explore. And even though the path was uncertain, a spark ignited within me, urging me to discover what lay ahead for the first time in ages. The next day dawned with a longing I couldn't shake. A subtle pain nestled in the depths of my heart. I drifted through the morning, my fingers gliding through my hair with a languid touch, captivated by the birds dancing in the yard, their fleeting beauty holding my gaze longer than it should have. Our conversations echoed in my mind, a bittersweet melody I couldn't escape. The memory of Jerry's fingers brushing against mine lingers, electric and forbidden. His eyes held a steady sincerity that made my heart race as he asked if I'd be okay. This was more than a fleeting infatuation. I was a woman caught in a whirlwind of longing, not just a girl lost in fantasies of the boy next door. No, this was something deeper, tangled in emotions and beautifully complex. And yet, when the knock echoed softly at a little past 10, my heart fluttered with a familiar, forbidden thrill. Jerry lingered on my porch once more, clutching 2 steaming cups and a crinkled brown bag, his presence igniting a flutter of excitement in my chest. He smiled softly, a hint of mischief in his eyes as he lifted the bag, the air thick with unspoken words. "Shall we share a moment over breakfast?" A smile tugged at my lips, even as I moved aside, heart racing with unspoken words. "Your presence is like a secret feast, always unexpected and deeply cherished." It's a thrilling risk. I suppose this is the smallest gesture for the woman who nourished my body with chicken salad and healed my heart in the quiet of her living room. We laughed, and in that moment the tension between us melted away. He set the cups down, his hands trembling slightly as he unwrapped the breakfast burritos, a secret indulgence from a nearby cafe. We sat by the window again, the light spilling in just as it had the day before, yet this time an unspoken tension hung in the air, electrifying and fragile. More courage. No more pretending this was merely a friendly gesture. He broke the silence, his voice low and tentative. "So what's your plan for today?" I let out a small sigh, my heart heavy with unspoken words. I found myself drawn to the farmer's market, the thought of autumn squash igniting a warmth in my chest, a secret thrill that felt just out of reach. "Do you want to join me?" He acted without a second thought. "Absolutely, that sounds perfect." And so we slipped away just like that. 2 souls separated by decades strolled together, their fingers brushing against the vibrant stalls of apples, glistening honey jars, fragrant handmade soaps, and oversized gourds, each step a silent defiance of the world around them. He took my bag, a silent gesture that sent a flutter through my chest. He leaned in, his eyes searching mine, as he asked about the dishes that made my heart flutter. As my laughter spilled out near the cinnamon stand, his gaze met mine, a spark of surprise and something deeper flickering in his eyes. It felt so right, yet that only deepened the sense of something forbidden. As they drove in silence, he gazed out the window, his voice barely a whisper. "I think I like being around you. It makes me feel more grounded." My eyes met his for just a fleeting moment, You appear to be someone who has it all together. Yet I sense a hidden turmoil beneath the surface. His smile was small and crooked, a fleeting glimpse of something deeper, something that felt both thrilling and wrong. You have no idea. For as long as I can remember, I've been pursuing fleeting moments, desires, connections, longing. With you, it's as if the world fades away, and I can finally breathe without the weight of longing. Words escaped me, caught in the tension of the moment. Compliments like that at my age felt like a secret, a fleeting moment that took my breath away. I had never been the one to bring solace amidst the chaos. We slipped inside, our laughter echoing softly as we joked about the oddly shaped butternut squash, a moment that felt both light and heavy with unspoken feelings. In a fleeting moment, my fingers brushed against him as I gently moved a leaf clinging to his shoulder. My fingers brushed against theirs, a moment stretched into eternity, electric and unspoken. He stood still, a silent tension hanging in the air. The silence that lingered was charged with unspoken words. It was thick with longing. My gaze lingered on him, a moment suspended in time. The subtle crinkles at the edges of his eyes, the quiet power in the way he stood, the warmth that lingered in his expression, always felt like a secret shared between them. He was something more, something that stirred a longing deep within her heart. He was a man marked by life, shaped by battles, and somehow against all odds he stood at my door, igniting a spark I never dared to feel. "Jerry," I whispered, "what are we getting ourselves into?" He moved in, heart racing. "I'm lost, but I can't keep up this facade any longer." My breath hitched. "Text, I don't want to frighten you," he murmured, his voice barely above a whisper. "But I can't let this slip away." Each word landed softly in my heart, a tender weight that I couldn't ignore. "I've devoted so much of my life to doing what's expected," I whispered, adhering to the rules, coloring within the lines. "And right now I just want to break free from them just this once." His fingers brushed against mine, soft and tentative, and I surrendered to the moment. In that moment we were suspended in time, fingers laced together in my still kitchen, sunlight streaming through the window, the lingering aroma of apples and cinnamon wrapping around us like a secret. It was tender, unspoken, a connection blossoming quietly between two souls. "I need to tread lightly here," he whispered, his gaze lingering on her with a mix of longing and caution. I nodded, my heart racing with unspoken words. "Same here." He lingered for dinner, the air thick with unspoken words and stolen glances. We shared a kitchen, laughter mingling with the scent of roasted vegetables, a simple soup simmering on the stove, and a bottle of wine that lingered unfinished between us. The soft jazz from the radio wrapped around us, and in a fleeting moment, I felt his gaze on me as I stirred the pot, as if I were a secret he longed to keep. As dusk settled and the stars flickered to life, we huddled on the back porch, wrapped in a blanket, the silence of the world enveloping us like a secret. "Do you ever think about the whispers that would follow us?" I whispered, my voice barely a breath. Perhaps he whispered, "Yet my heart aches for your feelings above all else." It's a rush, a spark that ignites something deep within me, something we both know we shouldn't explore. Once more the air hung heavy with unspoken words, a tension that defied reason. We had found ourselves in a moment neither of us had anticipated, yet neither could bear to leave behind. And in that fleeting moment doubt slipped away. For the first time in years, I finally embraced what my heart truly craved. As I rested my head against his shoulder, a rush of warmth enveloped us, igniting a spark that felt both thrilling and dangerous. We lingered in silence, gazing at the stars, as a fragile and undeniable connection started to blossom between us. The days that followed felt like stolen moments, each one a whisper of a story I never knew I could still tell. Every morning whispered a new melody, tender and intoxicating. He never made the move, and deep down I knew he wouldn't. Yet he found reasons to linger, appearing more frequently, sometimes for coffee, other times simply to share the silence with me. We thrived in the quiet moments, where unspoken feelings lingered in the air. We were unraveling a secret, each moment heavy with unspoken longing, and I treasured every heartbeat of it. Yet the world carries on oblivious, as something fragile starts to bloom. They see everything, and whispers linger in the air. Victoria came back from her trip, her heart heavy with unspoken words and lingering glances. Eventually, I knew our paths would cross, and my heart raced at the thought. On that warm afternoon, I caught a glimpse of her in the garden, her sun hat casting a shadow over her delicate features as she knelt, lost in her task. With a shaky breath, I slipped on my sandals, heart racing as I made my way over. "Hey, mysterious one," I whispered. Her gaze met his, and a shy smile broke across her lips. "Sarah, you saved my little green world. I wish you had been with her." We exchanged fleeting words, and I nearly silenced the urge to mention Jerry. But that would have been wrong. Not for her. Not for me. "I've crossed paths with Jerry a few times since you walked away," I said, my voice trembling just a bit. She brushed away the sweat, her heart racing as she nodded, a silent promise hanging in the air between them. "He said he came by to leave something behind. You mentioned that you two reconnected." I paused, heart racing. "It was so much deeper, Victoria. Our moments together linger in the air, electric and unspoken. We've shared our secrets. So much. And a spark ignited between us. Something we both knew we shouldn't explore." A surprise that took my breath away. Her gaze met mine, a storm of emotions hidden beneath a veil of mystery. Then she smiled, a gentle curve of her lips, filled with unspoken secrets, neither mocking nor surprised. With a heavy heart, "Sarah," she whispered, her voice trembling, "you've always been one of the sweetest souls I've ever known. If Jerry discovers solace in your arms, who am I to challenge that truth?" I breathed out, a rush of emotions flooding my heart. We barely whispered about it again after that. Yet, her elegance held a significance that she could never truly grasp. Later that evening, Jerry appeared at my door, a small bouquet of sunflowers in his hands, their bright petals a stark contrast to the tension in the air. "I thought these reminded me of you," he whispered, his eyes lingering on mine as he placed them in my hands at the threshold. I smiled, my fingertips grazing his, a spark igniting between us. "They can't help it." We found ourselves in the living room once more, the soft crackle of an old jazz record filling the air, wrapping us in a moment that felt both right and wrong. The night was deepening, and for the first time, I longed for him to stay just a little longer. He sat beside me on the couch, our proximity electric yet tinged with restraint. The soft glow of the lamp illuminated his features, revealing a beauty that felt both intoxicating and out of reach. "I can't help but think about you even though I know I shouldn't," he whispered. Our eyes locked for a fleeting moment. "What are we supposed to do about this?" His hand found mine once more, our fingers intertwining as if they had been destined to connect. "Perhaps it's nothing," he whispered, a hint of longing in his eyes. "Perhaps just this moment. Us against the world. Take your time. Nothing stands in our way." A warmth blossomed in my chest, a feeling that danced on the edge of love, teasing me with its proximity. A truth that stirs the heart. Something that feels just out of reach. I leaned in, heart racing, drawn to the warmth of his closeness. His arm encircled me, a comforting warmth that felt both right and wrong. Silence stretched between us, heavy and unyielding. We lost ourselves in the melody, wrapped in the rhythm of our shared breaths. In that quiet moment, I released the lingering fears, the weight of what once was. I let go of the weight of appearances, age, and the moments that slipped away. In this hushed, uncharted moment, I discovered a longing I never realized was buried deep within me. Yearning. Never compelled. Never pursued. Discovered something unexpected. The kind that ignites when you abandon the masks and allow your true self to shine through, even if it feels like a secret. That night, Jerry lingered as the sky blushed with the first light of dawn. We took our time, savoring each stolen moment. Each stolen glance held a world of unspoken feelings, echoing in the quiet between them. As he rose to depart, his lips brushed my cheek, a fleeting touch that sent shivers down my spine. Soft, fleeting, heartfelt. "Will I see you tomorrow?" he whispered, a hint of longing in his voice. I nodded, a smile flickering across my lips, a secret shared in the silence between us. "Yes, tomorrow. When everything changes." As the door clicked shut, I froze, my hand pressed against my heart, feeling the weight of what could never be. My life had been a tapestry of moments, children raised, dreams chased, love found and lost, and heartache endured. Yet, I never imagined that something so unexpected could spark at this moment. And yet it happened. Not a dream come true. Not a storm of passion. But something more forbidden, genuine, and beautifully hidden away.